Audrey, let's look at the keys to the game. First, the keys for Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota has to serve aggressively, and Coach Hebert talks about placing it and being very tactful as to where they put the ball, trying to get Penn State out of their offense. He also focuses on, he doesn't want his outside hitters just cranking the ball angle. He really wants them to wipe the ball off the block and hit some shots to kind of force Penn State's backcourt defense to play the ball.
Well, they're loose. There's no doubt about that. They're ready to go. How about Penn State? The defending national champions have won all 17 of their matches so far this season. 51 sets. They haven't lost a set. What's the key to them to keep that going?
Well, let me just start off by saying I love this Penn State team, and I mean this in the most respectful way. They walk in like bullies in a playground. They're not easily intimidated, and this crowd of 7,000 is not rattling them one bit. But their keys, they need to serve tough and eliminate their errors, both from the service line and hitting.
As we said, it's Dig Pink night. All the Minnesota coaching staff, and a lot of the Penn State folks as well. All the table staff are wearing pink, and they encourage all the fans to come with their pink, and you can see them scattered about, the maroon and gold, the colors of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And yeah, you can see the difference right now. They're playing the loud music and everybody's getting all pumped up, and the Gophers are dancing and swinging around, and Penn State's on the other end going, okay, let's play.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But isn't this a great atmosphere? What more can you ask for if you're a collegiate female athlete to play in an arena like this with this kind of crowd?
Both of these teams had matches last night. Penn State won at Iowa 25-20, 25-18, 25-20. While Minnesota played here in Minneapolis against Indiana, and the Gophers were three-set winners, 25-21, 25-17, 25-18. And fans of the Minnesota Gophers are used to the team playing at the Sports Pavilion, which is right next door, a capacity of 5,700. Here, we're playing this one at Williams Arena tonight, capacity of 14,625. And from watching basketball games here at Williams Arena, it's a little different deal. The floor is raised about 3 feet above the ground. Shouldn't be a danger, but you never know.
Well, the girls go after the balls aggressively, but nonetheless, there's enough space outside of the playing area where I don't think it's going to be a factor. And these players, especially Penn State players, have played in here before, and I think they're used to the way this arena is set up.
The real complication is for the announcers, who have to step up 3 feet and try and make it on their way to the court. But that's another story completely. Minnesota is 6-1 against ranked teams this season. The Gophers were ranked as high as 8th in the nation on September 15th. As we said, 15-2 overall, 5-0 in the Big Ten Conference. The two defeats to Minnesota was a tough 5-set loss at Hawaii, so that was a heck of an effort by the Gophers to go 5 with Hawaii in Hawaii. And then on September 20th, North Carolina was a 5-set defeat for Minnesota, but they've had some big wins against some very good clubs this year, Minnesota.
Well, they sure have, and when you play good opponents, it just elevates your level of play. And Minnesota tonight is playing the best team in the nation, and they really have to play outstanding. And in fact, their block needs to be disciplined, and even if their block doesn't stuff block every ball, they need to channel the ball into their great defensive player, their libero, Christine Tanner.
How important is it for Minnesota to get off to a good start?
Well, it's huge, because once you get the crowd into it, anything can happen. This Penn State team is really good, but they really haven't been tested this year. And so, Coach Hebert said, you never know what could happen. If you get off to a good start, you get them off balance, get the crowd into it. Hey, they are just like any other team. They can go down if you play hard against them.
Penn State has now won 30 straight Big Ten matches. 43 matches overall. Their last loss was to Stanford in New Haven, Connecticut. That was September 15th, 2007. Back in Minneapolis at Williams Arena, the Gopher band's still having a good time, but fans haven't had a whole lot to cheer about as top-ranked Penn State leads Minnesota 2-0 as we approach the start of the third set. Audrey Flaw, Jay Wilson with you. My 94-year-old mom is watching us in Kenosha, Wisconsin today. And she's sitting there going, when that coach said that Megan Hodge is passing 2.5, What in the world does that mean? Please.
Well, it's not a stat that you see on the stat sheet or in the box scores. When Coach Rose talks about Hodge passing 2.5, when you pass the ball, if you pass a perfect ball on the bench, the coach gives you a 3. That means a ball where the setter can set all 3 options. If your pass takes a setter off the net and she can only set 2 hitters, you get 2.
Okay.
If you just get the ball up in the air, it's a 1. If you get aced, it's a 0. So Hodge passing 2.5 is pretty darn good.
My mom still couldn't explain it, but that was well done.
Okay.
Well done. Let's take a look at the highlights of our first 2 sets. Minnesota having all sorts of trouble getting around the block. That time Collins did get the point. There's Louise working well for the Gophers, but Penn State, they've got some power.
Yeah, if Minnesota can get the ball around Penn State's block, they have a chance. If not, it's lights out. Take a look
Watch
at this.
this one, Harbato.
Yeah, this is awesome right here.
Ooh-wee. And as you might suspect, the numbers are very much in the Nittany Lions' favor, hitting 429 to 032. 10 more kills, and boy, a lot of errors for Minnesota as well.
That's right, and that hitting percentage for Penn State is unbelievable. They have got such talented players, so many good, forceful hitters that hit high over top of the block, and then a great setter that gives her hitters the opportunity to go one-on-one against a block.
Penn State has not lost a match. They have not lost a set here in the 2008 season, and the Nittany Lions are 2 up on Minnesota in Minneapolis.